So it's that time again. It's the time we do a monthly collaboration. And this is actually a special collaboration for us because it's the 10th one that we've done with this group. And we always bring a special guest in. And this month's special guest, they're all special. Let's say that. But this special guest is somebody we met a long time ago when we first started.
Oh, way back in the beginning.
I think we had 4 videos out. They've built a great channel. They've built a great community. They give back to the community in their, I don't want to say what they call it, but their gatherings, because we'll give that away. But this collaboration, and if you've not seen these before, what we typically do is that these channels get together and we either pick a topic or we get recommendations from our viewers and they tell us what they'd like to see. And this one is really interesting because it's going to be, we all have bucket lists, right? I mean, and in the 3 years that we've traveled, we've actually crossed a lot of things off our bucket list.
Oh, yeah, a lot. But there are still some things.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we haven't crossed off. And we're going to go through those today with everybody. And because in 3 years, like I said, we've done a lot of traveling, but there's some places that we almost got to, and there's some places that we still have got to get to.
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about that. And we're gonna add a little bit of a twist in there too. We're gonna talk about some events that you can get to. Now the key here is, places you can get to with your RV, because obviously this is an RV YouTube channel as well as the other collaborators.
Meaning no airplanes or ships.
No airplanes or ships, unless you can take an airplane. No, it's a place you have to get to with your RV. So let's talk about who's in the collaboration, and then we'll save the special guest for last.
Yeah, so our usual group is Wayward Wags, Leslie and Dustin, Brazen Brits, Natalie and Lawrence.
Notice that she starts with the women first, and the guys always start with the guy first.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Okay, Happy Place Diaries, Teresa and Jerry.
Gotta stick with it.
And our everyday getaway, Katrina and Chris.
Yeah, and so the special guests this time are
Sheila and Todd.
Sheila and Todd from Switch It Up. Now, little backstory here with Todd and Sheila. We had just started our travels in 2021, and we were at the top of Acadia Mountain, had just finished kind of, messing around, and I saw a guy walking who I recognized, and he had the camera.
I think the biggest giveaway not only was just his looks, because obviously everybody recognizes Todd, but it was that big mouse.
Yeah, the dead cat mouse on top of the thing. So I yelled out. Anyway, we had 4 videos out at the time, and it was great. They were actually the first big YouTubers we had actually ever met, and so that was great to meet up with them. And if you don't know who we are, well, I'm Ken.
And I'm Pam.
And we're the RoadSMITHS, so welcome to our channel if you've not been here before. So the way this collaboration works is we're going to talk about the places and, again, the events. And when you're done with watching our video, then we'd like you to go watch the videos of the other collaborators. We'll put a list of those videos below. And of course,
unless you've already watched them and we're last on the list,
which is quite possible, and especially with some bigger channels on here. So let's talk about where we're going to go. But first, we've got to say a little special thing, and that is, you got to do all the things, right, Sheila? And Todd, this one's for you. Let's roll the intro. All right, so welcome back. So we're going to go through the list of...
Welcome back.
Yeah, we just did the intro. Didn't you see the intro?
Oh.
She doesn't watch the intro.
I was very confused. We didn't go anywhere.
Yeah. So speaking of going anywhere, we're in Texas in summer.
Oh, can I say hot?
Yeah, not a good idea to camp, and especially a new camper in 97 degrees. Not a good thing. But
actually, it's done really well. It was 100 degrees today, and it did really well.
Yeah, and we're done sweating for now. But anyway, let's go back to the bucket list things, because otherwise we'll just go off on a million different tangents here. So again, bucket list places, and we could name hundreds, but for the sake of brevity of the video, let's keep it to probably a dozen or so.
We can do that, yeah.
Baker's dozen.
And no particular order, but some of these places we actually would have been to already, but because as RV life is, you often have to pivot, change your plans. A few of them we haven't made it to yet, and of course they're still on our bucket list, starting with probably Zion National Park.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about Zion? We were scheduled to go there in 2022 after Bryce Canyon, and when Hurricane Ian happened in Southwest Florida, we had some damage to our condo that we couldn't get there. So that is definitely on our list to get back to at some point in time.
Well, I'm going to do the hike.
Yeah, it's the Angels,
hike.
Angels Envy. Yeah.
No, Angel's Landing.
Angel's Landing, yeah.
Yeah. If I can get in the,
I'm pretty sure that if you landed off of Angel's Landing that you'd be with the Angels, but that's a whole different story. So another one, California, Yosemite. I mean, gosh, El Capitan, Half Dome, and we have some good friends of ours that I think actually, as we're making this video, may have actually
hiking it or just did.
Yeah.
Well, not they,
but he,
part of them.
yeah, he's
Part
kind
of
of an
they.
adrenaline junkie. So, and you know who you are. So Yosemite, we definitely want to get there. Just it looks beautiful.
I'm not sure if I'll do Half Dome, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And of course, you can't just do these hikes. You have to apply for them. But anyway, another one is Big Bend National Park, and yes, we've been in Texas for longer than any other state.
30 plus years, and haven't been there.
And we've never been to Big Bend, Texas. So that's definitely on our bucket list, but must be in cooler temperatures.
Yeah, and Big Bend looks awesome, and it's not an easy trip. I mean, from where we lived in North Dallas or the North Dallas area suburbs to get to Big Bend, it may take 36 years. I don't know how to get there. It's a long way to go. So there's actually the next two on this list. We would have actually been probably in one of, well, not the second one now, but we would have been in the first one about now in British Columbia, and that is Banff and Jasper. So some of you that have followed our channel know that we were supposed to be going to Alaska this year with some friends, Chris and Katrina from our Everyday Getaway, and I think they're up in that area now. But as Pam said, life changes, and our youngest daughter being pregnant in Colorado is keeping us in the lower 48, which is great. Can't think of a better reason. But I've always wanted to go to Banff and Jasper, and we're definitely going to do that. But stay tuned, because we're pretty flexible with this little camper where we wind up going.
Yeah, very flexible. And speaking of that, the other bucket list item would be Denali National Park, which would have been part of this trip that they are taking. So, so we're excited to be watching their journeys and adventures and learn and hopefully take that trip next year. Or...
Yeah. I mean, we definitely want to do that at some point in time. And again, you see behind us, this is not our Alliance. This is our Lance small camper.
The little one.
Yeah, we call the little one. So that's, we definitely want to see that. Mount McKinley's up there as well, and just everything in Alaska. So maybe Alaska is just the general, and the Mount and Denali is kind of that specific one.
I would say so. Yeah. The next one I'm going to mention, because it's probably more of my bucket list item maybe than yours.
I know why. I know where you're going with this.
Olympic National Park, and probably you're talking about ferns.
Yeah.
Ferns and moss everywhere. That would just be so awesome.
Rainforests,
I can't wait to go there.
And cool temperatures. And if we can snap our fingers and be there right now,
wouldn't that be fantastic?
That would be awesome. But
we wouldn't be sweating, that's for sure.
we can't do that. Okay, well, I'll take the next one because maybe it's more of a guy thing than it is a girl thing. Although,
I'm looking forward
in the last couple of years, you have become. This is probably, I would say, a couple of years ago, this would not have been on your list, but I would say now it is on your list.
I would agree.
Yeah, and that is going to the Bourbon Trail in Kentucky, and I'm not a bourbon snob or anything. I like a good bourbon, but I'm not a snob. But I just think that whole, it's going to like Napa Valley or Sonoma. You go for the wine, and for the Bourbon Trail, you go for the bourbon. And I've seen other people do it, and it's easy to get to, and I definitely want to do that.
Yeah, and not only for the testing or tastings, but also just for the education for me. I think you're probably more familiar with the whole bourbon process, but for me, I think it'd be to learn about bourbon.
Yeah, the tastings would be good.
Yeah.
In fact, I think after we shoot this video, I may do as many tasting in this guy here. So, all right. You added this last one.
Probably the biggest last bucket item that we have yet to to visit would be Nova Scotia and the whole eastern part of Canada there.
Yeah, we did Maine in 2021, as we mentioned. That's where we met Todd and Sheila at the top of Acadia. And Maine is outstanding, and I think Nova Scotia and Newfoundland and that whole Labrador sort of peninsula would be awesome to do. And we've talked about doing it every year, except that for some reason we keep heading west.
The west just keeps,
every
it's
year.
like a magnet. It just draws us back every year.
Well, and it's going to draw us back, obviously, with the new grandbaby coming. So that's great. So those are places, and again, there's other things, but I thought it was important to mention events because event isn't RV related, but you can get to these events with an RV. And the first one I'll mention is kind of what I'm wearing right here is the Ryder Cup. And if you're a golfer, and I've played golf for years and never been great at it. My grandfather was a professional, by the way, and I always said that he left me the desire, just not the talent. Pal, what you're thinking there, but and I don't play as much. Well, actually, I don't play now just because of our traveling. But the Ryder Cup is so unique as a golf lover because golf is such an individual sport. And the Ryder Cup just brings out that team work and teammanship and sportsmanship and just that competition between the United States and Europe. And I think that's great. So I didn't go. We happened to go through Whistling Straits in 2021. 2021,
yes.
And it says 2020 because it got postponed because of COVID.
Yes.
So anyway, the Ryder Cup, I'm going to go at some point in time. And speaking of golf, this one's kind of both. This one is I like to play it and I'd love to go to it. And I would take either one of those, but going to the Masters. I mean, that's like, it's like Mecca for golfers in the spring in Augusta, Georgia. I don't know how they get those azaleas to look the way they do.
They're so
You probably do. You probably do.
Yeah. Well, first of all, because it's, the soil is perfect.
Acidic, yeah. I think they bring them
Pine
in. I'm not sure they actually grow them
azaleas, dogwoods, oh my goodness. But anyway.
Yeah, so two golf events, certainly. And another one that's, so I love fly fishing as well. I love fishing, and I love fly fishing, saltwater fly fishing specifically. And one of the most elusive fish to catch, fly fishing, permit is one, but I'm not even going to attempt that because that's ridiculous. But catching, I've seen a tarpon eat. I've never gotten a tarpon hooked into the boat. And so getting a tarpon to the boat.
I even hooked one.
You did, a little baby tarpon, so that was
No,
good.
It was more than a baby.
Yeah, it was fish stories. Why don't you take that last one and I'll go to the second from last one.
Yeah, and I think this one is probably an event that, well, it's obviously not just an RV event, but it's certainly one that I think every RVer probably has on their list. It's the Albuquerque
Easy for you to mumble.
Balloon Festival. I haven't had any bourbon, I promise. Albuquerque
Balloon Festival. Yeah.
And maybe in the next few years we'll get to go and experience that.
Yeah, the funny part is I think it was it wasn't last year, year before last, as we came back from the West. We were going through Albuquerque on the way back to Texas as the Balloon Fest was going
happening.
on.
Yeah, we had some friends there, but
yeah. And as usual, we didn't plan it, so we just watched it as everybody else planned it. So those are bucket list places that we'd love to go to and events. And what we'd love for you to do, if you've been to any one of these events and or places, leave a comment below on what your experience was, because
if you have any tips or tricks or whatever, share those with us. We could certainly use those.
Yeah, probably the first tip we would ask for you to leave is how far in advance did you plan that? Because that's a weakness of ours that we need to get better at.
Yeah, and also we'd love to know, if there are some bucket list items that you have on your list that we didn't mention, and maybe we need to add them to
Yeah, and if it's a bucket list on your list that we've gone to, then we'll point you to the video in which we went to, and you can check that out.
Yeah,
that was a shameless plug. Anyway, so we're kind of through with that. But as we said before, once you're through watching our video, if you haven't watched the other videos already, go back. We'll put a playlist. We'll put a list of the videos below. And if you have any other suggestions of the types of things you'd like this collaboration group to suggest
in the future.
Videos, we would love to hear topics.
Yeah, looking for topics and suggestions. And we appreciate you watching this video. And don't forget
to do all the things.
to go
as Sheila says.
and do all the things.
As the wind blows through my window, I remember it all so well. Winter came so fast, I